Toby, good to have you again. Your production's nowhere near the Gulf, obviously Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, but I am curious, any expectation what this storm will mean in terms of production, perhaps? It does come from the Gulf?
Oh, hopefully the hurricane will miss the major producing areas in the Gulf Coast. One of the things you have seen recently is production is up in the United States, which is a good thing. And it's making sure that we have the energy we need here in the United States to get through tough times. Unfortunately, can't say the same for the rest of the world, and they're currently in the grips of an energy crisis.
Yeah, well, tell me more about what that means in terms of what you produce here and whether it can wind up over there in some fashion. And obviously, we've got this weird story about potentially, at least, Russia sabotaging its own pipeline. We don't know that, but we're wondering what's going on over there with Nord Stream.
Yeah, we've seen commodity prices slip here in the United States recently, and that is an output of the energy crisis the world is currently dealing with, people's concerns over recessions and lowering demand for commodities. This crisis is really unfortunate, and how did we get here? What started as well-intentioned approach towards building a more sustainable future with ESG, the over-prioritization of the environmental impacts of ESG have led to unintended consequences in where we're at. From an environmental perspective, we're on track. In the last 12 months, emissions from coal have essentially wiped out all of the environmental benefits that we've received here in the United States from 15 years of renewables investments. On the social side, these crippling energy prices are causing tremendous pain and suffering around the world. Europe is paying over 2.5 times more for their energy on a GDP basis. Utilities are crashing and being nationalized, and this is a really extreme situation from the social side of things. And unfortunately, we're taking shrapnel here in the United States. We've seen the whack-a-mole that we've been playing on how to get our energy under control, first by going after oil and releasing oil from our strategic petroleum reserve, not a very sustainable solution. Then you see the move towards trying to lower the price of refined products, and that is not a sustainable solution. And then we're seeing electricity prices rise in New England. We've seen electricity prices go up, increase over 64% in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, up 100% in New Hampshire. We've got to stop playing whack-a-mole with our energy policy and start bringing sustainable solutions to the forefront. And that solution is unleashing American energy to add the supply the world critically needs, so we can end this energy crisis in the world and get back to having a more sustainable, profitable, peaceful world.
Right. We've heard you send that message before. Specific to that, where does this Manchin bill and the permitting stand in terms of whether we're going to see the light of day?
This is a very important first step towards giving our industry the ability to alleviate this energy crisis. Thankful for the leadership of Senator Manchin and Senator Capito for proposing legislation that will help allow us to build infrastructure in this country and make it a little bit easier. Now, this is a first step, and there's a lot more work that we need to do to facilitate these projects. But I think when you look at the amount of infrastructure we've been able to build in this country over the last 20 years, we've been able to build infrastructure, but for some reason, over the last 6 years, our ability to build energy infrastructure has been completely stalled, blocked, or opposed. It's not because we forgot how to build energy infrastructure. It's because we've had regulations that have been too onerous. And this legislation is a good step towards getting us back on track to building the energy infrastructure that this world critically needs.